Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Hang up your pretty stockings. Turn off the light. Santa Claus is coming down the old chimney tonight. Oh, Christmas time way back, and the snow is falling on the ground. Well, you be a real good little baby. Santa Claus is bringing town.
All righty, here we go. 9:19. Kenneth Pfeiffer in the studio. How are we doing today, Ken?
Oh, it's a beautiful day out.
It is. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. Yesterday, I was a little bit crabby because my phone said 35 degrees, and then I got out of work, and it felt like it was negative 35. But today, it's manageable, you know. And all I know is that it's always great to talk about local authors on this show. And Underground Profits to Wallstreet Wins, My Journey to Financial Freedom. We were just talking before the conversation, and 3 years in the making plus.
3 years in the making, and I don't know if it would have ever happened if it wasn't for COVID.
Really?
Because it gave me the time to sit down. People have been telling, I would tell these stories, and people have been telling me for years, dude, you need to write a book.
Right.
Well, because of COVID, I had the time to do that.
You know, whenever I talk to people on anything really about, you know, development, business, and books, and you name it, COVID really was a good time for creative processes to really happen for a lot of people. And there are some hindsight being 2020, some positives from the pandemic in a way, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So your dad was a book king.
He was the book king.
Fill me in on this. Okay, so he was the owner of a retail book chain, correct? A bookstore
yes,
chain.
Yeah. He went into the book business the year I was born, 1959, and the whole premise of writing this book was to get some of these stories that he told me down in writing. Mm-hmm. My dad passed away in 2019. He was 91. And I started realizing that some of these stories, I'm the only one that knows these stories because I'm the only one that he told them to.
Right.
So, you know, I started wanting my siblings to know these stories. And then as I started doing research, I started finding out, wow, this is like a saleable story. This has got a lot of info behind it. So,
well, and that's what you know, I think's really unique about this, because I was reading a little bit of the synopsis and just kind of learning a bit about it. I mean, from mobsters to the gauntlet, you got every bit of intrigue that you could ask for in this book. Well, and what I think's really cool too, and we'll pull this on the screen here, and I might have to zoom in a little bit so the folks can see it a little bit clearer. You know, this picture of you and your father over there. There's your dad right there, correct? And then there's little Ken down there in the corner. I think that's super cool. And just the cover of the book, Underground Profits to Wallstreet Wins. This is on Amazon, My Journey to Financial Freedom by Ken over here. And really just a cool shot. What year was that taken?
I was about 10 years old. That's guesstimation is when I started going to work with my dad on Saturdays. My mom wanted to get me out of the house, so I had to go with my dad on Saturdays. And man, it was an adventure with a capital A. He had a 3-story warehouse, used to be an old candy factory down on Grand and Olive called the Busy Bee Candy Factory. And the place was full of stuff. And man, it was a 10-year-old's dream.
Well, who is Francis Pfeiffer?
That's my father.
So Francis Pfeiffer and you have done it all together is really what we're kind of getting out of this. So take me through really how this all started. So it started at 10, I'm guessing, when you started going to work with them.
Yeah, well, my dad's mother and father bought this big house behind the Fox Theater next to the Continental Building. And my grandfather seen a need for parking space for cars. So he moved the family into the little outdoor kitchen behind the house and wrecked the house and started parking cars in the late 1930s, 1939.
Wow.
And my dad, his sisters went to college. He had to start parking cars at about 12 or 13.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and there was a bookstore across the street. My dad said, well, once you filled the lot with cars, you were off. He said, I'd go across the street and talk to the guy at the bookstore. And the bookstore was struggling. Apparently, my dad said that one day he said, Francis, I've had enough. Here's a bushel basket full of bills. Here's the key. I'm done. And gave him this bookstore.
You can just have it. It's
You just
not
have it.
even
You can
worth
pay
the
the
sell.
rent, I'm done.
Oh my God. So was he ever, talking to him, did he ever think, oh, I'm going to have a business one day? Because he was always about making money, obviously.
He was about making money. Yeah, he had a business mind. He was
incredible.
Born an entrepreneur because my grandfather was an entrepreneur as well.
Really? What'd your grandfather do? What didn't he do is the question. What didn't he do is the question.
My uncle Terry helped me find these newspaper clippings. He had a newspaper clipping from 1916 that my grandfather was arrested for selling tainted sardines. He was a grocer, and he would go to auctions and buy whatever he could to resell. So
I love it. That's great.
yeah, and he made a lot of money buying cemetery lots and selling them. My dad said he'd comb the newspaper and find cemetery lots. Oh, that's a good one. I'll buy and sell those. So
hey, it sells. It sells. And how did this? So he entered the book business in 1959.
Yeah.
How did this really transform into this? Really, I mean, the one way that I can describe it is an empire. I mean, when you have you're talking multi-million dollars in 1960s, and so, I mean, that's not chump change.
That's right. The bookstore is struggling, and as my dad said, there's three things that'll always sell: cars, guns, and women.
It's true.
So we started specializing, and the next thing you know, as soon as we started making money, of course, this was many years later, the accountant said, you guys are going to owe income taxes. And my dad's looking, not me. We got to open another store. And any time that we were going to owe income tax, we'd open another store. And my first 10 years, all of a sudden we had 8 stores.
Well, you were a renaissance man from this. You guys, you've learned how to do a little bit of everything to get a little bit of that entrepreneurial mindset. Fill me in on what you kind of did as the bookstore's developing there. Because, I saw that you from dumpster diving to you were doing it, selling at flea markets, all this stuff.
The flea market was a big deal. We opened these bookstores, but then we couldn't pay the rent because there's no traffic. There's nobody there.
Right.
So we started selling books to flea markets, and that turned into an empire in itself. I bought a bigger truck. I bought a truck and cut the side out and made a bookmobile out of it.
Wow.
And I specialized. I'd go to these flea markets where there was antique dealers. It would never work now. Flea markets were at its heyday in the 80s.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
And I started specializing in antique price guides to sell to dealers. So it didn't matter if there was any public at the flea market or not. You had these glass dealers and furniture dealers and clock dealers, and I had all the price guides on it.
That's incredible.
So that turned into a business within itself.
It's one of those things. It just hearing you don't take no for an answer. You just find a way.
Failure is not an option. That was my dad always said. Failure is not an option. I moved out of my parents' house at 17. Failure was not an option, and I've never looked back. It's probably one of the best decisions I made.
Yeah, well, and I got to ask you, too. It just seems like, growing up, you didn't, kids, not just kids, but people nowadays, you get that first kind of rejection or things aren't going as well as you think in that first business, and the head goes down and kind of see the pouting and the moping. I got to ask you about this just from the couple of minutes you've been on this show. I would only imagine that you don't mope or tell your dad about what the problems you're facing in the business are and how bad things are going. It's just, let's get this done. Yes and no?
Yes. Oh, my dad always let me make my own mistakes.
Okay.
And pick up the pieces. And okay, now what are we going to do? I can tell you that, he'd give me advice, but then he'd stand back and let me do my own thing. And that worked out very well in our business life together.
I'm sure it helped you down the road, too, because you were the one making that critical decision.
Yeah.
That's cool. Very fascinating, Ken. And now I got to ask you, because now we're starting to get into this. So there's a lot that goes into being an entrepreneur, especially in the 60s and 70s and 80s when it's kind of, a more of a free-thinking world, I think. You get involved in a little bit of stuff. Where do we start? I mean, you dodging ties to the mob, hosting porn star parties. Where do we go with this?
Well, I didn't know it until I started writing this book that my dad at one time had 15 stores downtown, and they started out as newsstands, and then he would put books in, and then he became a magazine distributor.
Gotcha.
And it was very difficult to find outside accounts. So he decided to start manufacturing his own accounts by opening these little magazine places,
Yeah.
And one of the most successful one was Trader Bob's tattoo shop. It was half of it was a tattoo shop, and the other half was the bookstore. And I ran across the ledger from this place. 1967, they're taking in $3,700 a day.
Oh, wow. Whoa. That is not today. That'd be thousands. I mean, that'd be ridiculous amounts of money.
And I don't want to give away too much.
No.
Because
It's just
the stories are in there.
But it's one of those things, Ken, where because we still got more to talk about, and I really want to dive into this book. But I just had to talk about the premise of this first, because this is not a book that we have authors on this show, but I don't think anyone's ever wrote as uniquely of a situation as this ever. We're going to take a break. It's 9:30 and a little bit of change. We'll come back with more conversations with Ken. We're going to take a deep dive into the book, learn a little bit more about the inspiration to it, and so much more ways you can get your hands on it. So we'll take a quick break. It's 9:31 in the heart of the 618. More Daily Show next.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof, because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready, future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. Which is good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off Dog Walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Dibs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit VillageDispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones.
A little shot of the White House at 9:34. 10:34 over there. I wonder if those guys read magazines over there. No, just kidding. So back to Ken. I gotta ask you. We were talking when the conversation started. A lot of people saying you got to do this. You got to talk about these stories. But what truly inspired that finalized nail in the coffin? I'm going to do this. Was there like a conversation with your dad? Was it just a feeling you had that I have got to get this done?
You mean writing the book?
Yeah, like what?
The thought never crossed my mind while I was working alongside my dad.
Never.
No, I put these stories on the hard drive up in my head, and once I got to be about 55 or 60, they started getting a little foggy.
Yeah,
as
fair.
you all know. And so I said, I got to get these in writing. I never had a plan to write a book, and it just my wife encouraged me quite a bit, and then my Uncle Terry is into genealogy, and he was able to hunt down some of this documentation that proved these stories were not just stories. This stuff really happened. Wow. And that's when I started collecting. He sent me a binder with all these different newspaper clippings, and I'm like, wow, I gotta, this is worthy of a book.
So when you see these newspaper clippings and you start to see the verification, do some of the pieces start to make sense a little bit more? Like when you start to reflect back on things that happened, or maybe some of did it all start clicking?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, down on DeBoliver, my dad had a store. And he said that the Black Panthers had come in and tried to sell him protection.
Oh, wow.
And he said that I never bought any protection. He said, but there was a club across the street, a Starlight or something club. He said they didn't buy protection, and one day the whole place blew up.
Oh, my God.
He said, I kind of paid attention to that.
I'd say so.
He said, and the man that ran the store, Mr. Logan, lived upstairs at a bookstore. Well, someone knocked on his door one night, and he opened the door, and they threw acid in his face and blinded the man.
Oh, my God.
And I can remember Mr. Logan. My dad brought him home for Thanksgiving one time. And that story stuck with me, and then jump ahead 40 years later, my uncle turns up with this newspaper clipping that verifies it.
Wow.
And man, that's just a chilling feeling.
Yeah, 100% over.
Yeah.
Man.
So they closed the store and got the hell out of that town.
Yeah, time to move. Time to pack up the wagon there. So, what really is this book about? If you could because there's so many different stories, and it's interesting, but if you could really sum it up, what is the book truly about?
The bottom line is the story is about my road to financial freedom and how I let my father take the profits from the book business and invest them in the stock market. And basically why I don't have to worry about where I eat lunch today.
It's incredible.
It's quite a journey, and I didn't realize it was such a journey until I got it in writing.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Do you is there a sense of pride when you're writing, like going, we did this? I mean, because
the pride is right here.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because
Thanksgiving, I never even seen my book until Thanksgiving. And my wife's daughter, we went to Thanksgiving out in Vandalia, and she walks in and she tosses the book in my lap, says, will you sign this? And I'm like, I can't tell you the emotions that ran through me, because it was the first time I had the book in my hand, and I'm just like, I had to collect myself, for about 5 minutes. I'm like, these are emotions I've never felt before.
Right.
Pride and humility and just a lot of emotions all at once.
So, and what I think is just so unique about this too is it's such a unique story about a father-son relationship too, and and one that I don't think very many people have with their respective parents, because not many are in business together, number one, and number two, not many are as creative and as driven to find ways to profit. And you got to be. It's one of those things where, Ken, I don't know about you, but you either thrive or you die in life, and you got to make sure that you're working. And that's and no matter how you get it done, you just got to get it done. And now, when did you realize that you were going to live comfortably? When did you know that, hey, life's going to be good for old Ken?
About the time I started closing the bookstores, 2014.
Okay.
I started liquidating stuff. I wasn't sure how to. At that point, we had over 200,000 books.
Wow.
You know, we owned the bookstore up in Godfrey, Illinois, right across from Lewis and Clark College.
Oh,
Godfrey
yeah,
bookstore.
yeah.
We owned that, and sales were going down, rents were going up, the leases were due, and my dad was out of the picture. I said, man, if I don't do something and do it soon, we're going to go bankrupt here.
Yeah.
And I hooked up with disabled vets, Society of Disabled Vets, and I decided to donate 2 bookstores to them, all the books,
Wow.
sign the papers. They had to come with semis and help and pallet trucks and cart all that away. And I realized that most of these books were given to us through trades and stuff over the years. It was the only way to get rid of that kind of volume.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I couldn't imagine how many thousands of copies you have of things. And yeah, it's just...
It was serious, but it all worked out in the end.
It always does, doesn't it? When whenever you work, it always does. And now, did you have any really cool... Because I know we talk about the fun side of things, but like on the actual book side, did you have any really cool books that came in? Any rare pieces that you guys were really proud of? Just like one of those collector's items or one of those historical things?
Yeah, there's a couple that comes to mind. The first issue of Playboy.
Really?
I had an original...
Wow.
In the 30-plus years, I had about 3 or 4 copies of that. But the first time, I had... we had a big business selling backdate Playboys. You know, we had them all by year and by month, and people would ask, I need a January 72. I could walk back there and pull it out and sell it to them, you know.
Wow.
But the first issue, this guy said, if you ever run into the first issue, I want to buy that. So year later, guy comes in, what do you give me for the first issue? So I said, just a minute. And I go back in my office and call the guy. I said, what are you willing to pay? He said, well, I'll give you $400.
Wow.
So I come out there and I tell the guy, I'll give you $200.
Yep.
So he sells it to me for $200. So guy comes in. I said, yeah, here it is. It's in pretty good condition. I want $400 for it. Oh, I'll give you $300.
Oh, hell
like,
no. Yeah, whoa.
Is it in the condition I said it was in? Yeah, but I don't want to pay $400. I said, get out of here. So I put it away. The guy came back like a year later. Okay, I'll give you $400. I said, no, I want $600 now.
Good deal. Yep.
Man, he called me every name in the book, you know. In the meantime, I put it on eBay, and a guy from Australia calls me, says, I'm in Indiana at the airport. You got this first issue? He says, what do you want? I said, I want $1,000. And the guy says, can you meet me at the St. Louis airport? I'll fly in. I'm like, yeah, I'll meet you.
Wow.
Flew in, met the guy at the airport. He says, I'll give you $900. I took $900 and sold it. And about 2 years later, I ended up buying another one for 50 cents in a box of magazines, and I still have that. I looked the other day. You have to have it graded by CGC, and they put it in this plastic case, and any real collector, they can go on there and look up the serial number. And there was one listed for $13,000 on eBay.
Wow.
So.
Wow. That's not bad. You know, you always hear, what would you do for a Klondike bar? Not what would you do for the original Playboy. Fly into St. Louis Regional and offer $900, you know? So,
there you go.
Did you ever have any really interesting people ever walk into the stores? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because there's always, I could only imagine there's maybe folks sitting in their personal assistants to go grab materials because they don't want to be seen in public grabbing these things. You know, is there ever anything like that?
Well, we had a number of recognizable people that you see on TV and commercials, you know.
Yep.
Some call them ambulance chasers. But I told myself I wasn't going to talk about
That's
that.
okay, that's
They'd
fair.
wear dark glasses, but after a while, we got to know who they were, you know. We had a lot of professionals, doctors, lawyers.
I'm sure.
You know.
I find this such a fascinating business because it's one that everyone knew about, you know, or you know, utilized in some way, shape, or form. But it was just something my generation doesn't understand because they think of like, oh, this is like, you know, the creme de la creme, and it's really no different than what you see on media today on TV shows.
One of the things that made our store stand out was our stores were 90% non-adult merchandise.
Right.
I mean, we had the best selection of Bibles of anywhere.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
Brilliant. It's brilliant.
It was 90% non-adult, 10% adult. That 10% was 90% of the sales.
That's incredible.
And that's the community that dictates that. That's not me as a bookseller.
Yeah.
That's the community. But more than once, I put a Bible and a Hustler in the same bag and sent people on their way. And I'm proud of that.
Well, right. No, did you all have employees? Were they a problem ever? Or?
Oh, God. I could have wrote it. That might be the second book.
That's the sequel.
Employees. Yeah, employees were an issue. And when I retired out of the book business, that's why I became a wedding officiant.
Did you really?
Because I said my next job, my next career is going to have no inventory and no employees.
That's incredible. Well, you know, Ken, we can get this book on Amazon, correct? Is it available locally anywhere?
I'm going to be signing autographs at the Grafton Art Museum, the Art Gallery on Main Street in Grafton this Saturday from 1 to 3.
And you can get this available instantly on your Kindle devices today for really, honestly, $12.30. Or if you want a paperback, you can order that online as well.
Less than $12, $8 for an ebook.
Oh, is it? Wow, look at that.
You might have a different
one?
older posting, but $8
gotcha.
for an ebook, $18.95, $20 cash and carry at the signing.
That's brilliant. And honestly, this is going to be a fun book to read. Honestly, regardless, like
It's got a little bit of everything in it.
That's for sure. To call it a charcuterie board of a book. You know, how about that? Hey, Ken, thanks for stopping by. Whenever you write the book on employees, you come back in. But really enjoy your insights, and you're welcome back anytime to chat and fill us in.
Thanks for having me, CJ.
946, we'll link everything in an article on RiverBender.com. You stay there, I'll stay here, right here in downtown Alton.